All glories to Sri Guru and Gauranga and to Śrīmad-Bhāgavatam. Śrīmad-Bhāgavatam starts with an invocation verse with 5 conclusions. The Brahman, Narayan, Krishna, Radha and Krishna's meeting and separation in Madhurya Ras and Bhakti being the Satyam Paramadhimahi. The rest of chapter 1 are questions by the sages at Naimisharanya. The second chapter is answer to some of the sages' questions by Sutta Goswami, where stages of bhakti are explained. The third chapter is about Krishna's avatars. The fourth chapter is the appearance of Narad to Vyasa. The fifth chapter is a conversation between Vyasa and Narad. The sixth chapter is about Narad reaching perfection in Prem. This is the 7th chapter and my presentation. There are important lessons for everyone in this chapter. After Narad inspires Vyas to highlight the real purpose, Prem to the lotus feet of Sri Radha Krishna, which really means to aspire to the service of the Prem that Radha and Krishna experience, Vyasa saw the real meaning of all the scriptures while in trance. Now with renewed clarity he could see and he could remember the sweet pastimes of Radha and Krishna. With bhakti, the mind is undisturbed, and in that state Vyasa saw Lord Shri Krishna complete with all his energies and spiritual expansions. Maya, the Lord's external energy, is like the darkness and Krishna is like the effulgent sun. Hence Maya is the absence of perception of the sun. Wherever the sunlight is present, there cannot be any darkness. Gurudev's mercy is so potent that the impossible becomes possible. By Narad's karuna, Vyasa could now see the shadow and the sun. Unlike the conditioned jivas, Vyasa did not lose his consciousness from Krishna, even though he could see the ashamed state of Maya, who took shelter of the Lord behind the Lord. When bhakti is hearing, remembering, and chanting Radha and Krishna's glories, the activity of Krishna's internal spiritual potency, Swarup Shakti, his external energy, Maya, covers the jiva's awareness of their self-effulgent spiritual nature, throwing the consciousness of the jivas out towards the ingredients. The Vidyavriti function of Maya that gives knowledge of the distinction of the conscious self from matter comes from Sattva-gun. Bhakti is post-Brahmabhuta stage, where jivas don't hanker nor do they lament and they become joyful by engaging in Swarup Siddha Bhakti. Bhakti Devi, who is independent, she appears because she is Swarup Shakti of the Lord. Vyasa could see all the 3 forms of Maya and he could see Bhakti Yoga as well. In order to help the bewildered jivas, Vyasa, having already made the Bhagavatam, revised it and he taught it to his son Shukadev, who had realized Brahman. Saunaka Rishi asked Sutta Goswami, why was the self-realized son of Vyasadev, Sukadev, who is an Atmaram himself, given the lengthy scripture? In Chaitanya Charitamrita, Chaitanya Mahaprabhu explains the Atmarama verse 10 spoken by Sutta Goswami 19 times. Lord Chaitanya says that those who are liberated souls and are fully satisfied will eventually become devotees of the Lord. This is specially meant for the impersonalists, for they don't have any information of the Supreme Personality of Godhead, being satisfied in impersonal Brahman. But Krishna is so attractive and strong that he attracts their minds. The Lord explained that anyone who takes pleasure in the cultivation of knowledge of the body, the mind, endeavor, conviction, intelligence and nature is known as Atmaram. All the different types of Atmaram or transcendentalists have got freedom from the bondage of illusion and have taken the greatest step forward towards rendering transcendental service of the Lord. Sukadev was ready for this service, and hence the Bhagavatam was ready to bestow its mercy on him. And he later spoke it to Parikshit Maharaj. By the mercy of Srila Vyasadeva, Sukadev Goswami realized the good qualities of Krishna. He gave up impersonal Gyan and became a pure Rasik Tattvajna Bhakta. The aim of the Bhagavatam is discussion of topics related to Krishna and mostly to his sweetest pastimes with the gopis, especially Srimati Radhika. Before getting into the highly exalted sweetest pastimes, a foundation was to be laid so that the devotees of the Lord could see sweetness in every page of the Bhagavatam and serve the Bhagavatam. For example, Sanatan Dharma at its highest is displayed in the story of Draupadi's compassion. Sanatan Dharma comes from Krishna himself. Krishna inspired this dharma in the heart of Brahma, who inspired it in the heart of Narad Rishi. Narad inspired it in Vyasadev, who inspired it in the heart of Sukadev Goswami, who inspired it in the heart of Suta Goswami. We should also know that some advanced devotees may not follow all the rules or regulations of Sanatan Dharma. For example, Sukadev Goswami never wore a garland. He was naked. It has been written in scripture that one should not be naked in public, but Sukadev Goswami was. He was at the highest stage of bhakti. He had neither bodily remembrance or material conceptions of life. So Śrīmad-Bhāgavatam is for everyone at every stage of their lives. The story of how Parikshit, who was in the womb but could still see Krishna and get his mercy, is told in the next chapter, which is chapter 8. Suta said, at the end of the Kurukshetra war, the son of Dronacharya, Ashwatthama, being very angry at his father's passing and to please Duryodhan, who was lamenting his defeat, killed the sons of Draupadi in their sleep. Draupadi was distressed and Duryodhan did not like this act. Arjun, seeing Draupadi's pain, promises her that he would bring Ashwatthama's head to her. Thus pacifying Draupadi, Arjun, whose friend and charioteer was Krishna, put on his armor and pursued Ashwatthama, who fled as fast as he could, seeing Arjun. When he saw that he had no protector, he released his Brahmastra without knowing how to withdraw it. Arjun was surrounded by the effulgence of Ashwatthama's Brahmastra. Verses 22 and 25 are prayers by Arjun to Krishna. The mood of prayers from the heart is the lesson for everyone to take from these verses. One realizes the truth by praying, and Krishna listens to the prayers of his devotees and of the conditioned jivas. Krishna sends rishis and munis to help train the fallen jivas. Krishna manifests as Chaitya Guru, Super Soul, who acts as Guru in the heart. We don't pray for power, cessation of future births, dharma, artha, kama, moksha. Our prayers should be for attachment to Krishna, to Radha Krishna, to Chaitanya Mahaprabhu. Having praised Krishna, Arjun then informs Krishna of the matter at hand. The Lord orders Arjun to destroy the fire of Ashwatthama's weapon with the fire of Arjun's Brahmastra. Arjun releases his Brahmastra and the fire of both weapons combined becomes a threat to the inhabitants of the universe. So Arjun withdraws the two weapons. Then Arjun's eyes burning with anger, he quickly catches cruel Ashwatthama and ties him up with a rope like a beast. Seeing this, Krishna displays outwardly anger, his real motive to show the world Arjun's standard of justice. At first, Krishna orders Arjun to kill Ashwatthama, and then he puts forward all possible dharmic scenarios for Arjun to contemplate upon, so that he would be able to make a choice of real justice. Arjun did not want to kill Ashwatthama, even though he had killed his son, because he was intelligent. He knew the nature of Krishna, who tests his devotees in the same way he tested the gopis. Then arriving at his camp, Arjun offered Ashwatthama to Draupadi, who was lamenting for her sons. Here we see the greatness of Draupadi and the principles of Sanatan Dharma once again. Although she has many reasons to hate Ashwatthama, she thinks of his mother, Kripi, and not wanting her to lament for her son the way she was, Draupadi, being of mild nature, asks Arjun to release him. Yudhishthir and all the brothers like this judgment, but Bhima does not. Arjun is in a state of indecision. Krishna reminds him of all the duties, even though they might look contradictory, but had to be performed. He reminds Arjun of the promise he made to Draupadi about his duty to please his elder brother and also Bhima. Krishna says, a friend of Brahman cannot be killed, but an aggressor is to be killed. Arjun understands that the biggest death for a son of a Brahman would be to be humiliated and take away all his power and energy. So he cuts off his jewel, which is embedded in his scalp, scraping off his skin and hair, and throws him out. The Pandavas, with heavy heart, do the last rites of the sons. In Kali Yuga, this Sanatan Dharma descends from Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, who has given us the holy name as the Yuga Dharma. Vancha kalpatrubhyascha kripa sindhubhaiva cha patitanam pavanebhyo vaishnavibhyo namo namaha.